Hey friends, welcome back to Generation AI. Today's episode hits differently. It's a special one. I'm JC and I'm sitting across from my partner in crime, Ardis Kadiu, founder of Element451. And at the Engage Summit 2025, just a few weeks ago, this guy, my friend and CEO, decided to hang up his jersey. Yes, you heard that right. After a decade, I think more than a decade to be honest, building, grinding, and turning a scrappy idea into a category defining platform, Ardis will be stepping off this field of the CEO, the role of the CEO, and heading back to Builder's Lab. It is the end of an era for Element. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but it's the start of something new for him. And who knows, many of us will benefit similarly. So, you're a customer, partner, hired innovator. This moment matters because the vision that powers Element 451 doesn't fade, actually multiplies. Ardis will still guide the ship from the boardroom, but he's also free to chase the next wave of AI breakthroughs. And what about Generation AI, this very podcast? We're not slowing down. If anything, expect more voices, deeper dives, and even bolder takes as we ride this styling charge AI boom together. So buckle up, the story starts now. Welcome to the Generation AI podcast, where we demystify artificial intelligence and higher education all together. I am JC Bonilla, joined by my awesome co-host, Ardis Kadiu. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, JC, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? It's been quite a week.
It's been a crazy week. Engage Summit, where we just came back from it. Lots of innovation. Amazing to see the whole team there. I felt really, really special this one, and we'll talk a lot about that today.
Well, Ardis, not only we had a fantastic week with our users, more than 600 people on site, over 1,000 virtually, but on the keynote, there was a really special announcement that you showcase where you've communicated to everybody that this will be, or that was your last Engage conference. Which means that yes, as the CEO of the company, you will be stepping down. A new journey starts for you, a new journey for the company. And in this episode, in that sense, is different because what we want to talk about is your transition, the why, the how, and what is next. But put it in the context because the timing, it's everything Ardis could do, right? It's not random. So many things are happening here. And the past decade has been a build towards this moment, if you will. And love to have a conversation with you on the timing, how we build towards this, what happens to Element, what happens to you, and how all these things are in the context of all things AI. So with our Ardis, after founding Element451 and leading it where it's today, like why June, end of June of 2025? Why the timing of doing it now?
Look, there's a lot of things, right? And one of those things that it's kind of clear to me is that I'm kind of a builder at heart, and I really love the kind of the scrappiness. I love the startup, and right now Element has grown up, right? So it's gone from a scrappy startup to more of a industry leading scale up. And you've seen that with all of the innovations and all the announcements that we make during Engage last week. The platform is transforming and becoming an AI workforce platform. The teams are there, amazing teams that we have built here. The customer momentum and the partner momentum is incredible. We had with over 600 people at Engage, in the community, it's growing up really, really quickly. So there is just a lot of momentum that's happening in Element, and sometimes that is probably the best time when you want to kind of hand the reins to someone else and kind of start exploring my next idea. And that's really, that's really at the crux of it, right? I love what I build. I'm very, very proud. I love the team at Element and what we're building and what we're doing. But I feel like this is a great moment for me to kind of transition to more of an advisory role on the board and let the team kind of scale Element to kind of, dominate higher education and student engagement in higher ed. And of course, we know that AI is a big story there as well.
So The timing is not a coincidence. I think there's milestones that you want to see as a founder, as a leader in this category. In a way, the scoreboard was ready for you to, do the shift, right? And an important thing that I want to note, right, is that this is not a transition, right, but an evolution. Definitely not an exit, right? So, artists, your fingerprints, an element will continue to be felt, seen, and manifest themselves. So you will be stepping down as CEO, moving into a strategic board member, guiding us, pushing us in mentorship vision in the company. So can we just talk about a bit more of what that looks like? What is Ardis, the CEO, versus Ardis, the board member?
So, look, Artist is the CEO, has his hands in basically everything.
No, that's not true. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know, man. It's like can be it can be it can be annoying sometimes, right? But
Only on Mondays. Only on Mondays.
only on Mondays.
Tuesday,
Yeah,
Tuesday
yeah, I
to
get it.
Friday, smooth sailing. Hey, it's called founder CEO, founder mode for a reason, right? And just before you continue on to like what does it mean, I just wanted to
Yeah,
say that's your style and you're excellent at. I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm not kissing ass. I don't have to. You're excellent at being in the weeds with us. And god damn it, that's that tough love that you show up Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays and call it. It's a brand and we thrive under it. So if anything, we're gonna miss that. So that's artist CEO, right? In the weeds. But you had this duality in the weeds and just 5 steps ahead of all of us in terms of vision, right? So come in the board member aspect. So go.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's the part that's really it's kind of exciting for me is I can still be part of the journey and natural like as I transition out of the CEO role and play a bigger role on the board, like that vision, I can still kind of guide a lot of that vision and work with the leadership and work with the exec team and the new leadership at Element to our new CEO to essentially guide and kind of move things forward towards what we already started. But I don't have to really do the things and get my hands in and kind of plan for that scale and that kind of alleviates a lot of mental weight as well because as I've grown Element from beginning to now, there's just a lot of baggage that comes with that, right? There's a lot of baggage in the way you think about, how do you scale and how do you do all those things and how you operationalize scale. You know, Jury's still out, but like we've done an incredible job in being able to scale to this point. But I'm more focused on kind of product and innovation, and I that's kind of where I get a lot of that energy from the ideas. And there comes a point where it's like, okay, so how do you now scale an organization to 200, plus 300 or even more people? That's a different kind of equation, and I don't think I'm really interested in that part of it. And I want to go back to essentially the building part, right? Building, especially now when AI has been, it's probably one of the best times to do that. So the idea here is that, there's no disruption of mission or roadmap, and an element's mission and day-to-day operations they really remain unchanged. Like we're delivering cutting edge AI for higher ed, and that's not changing at all, right? And there's really no change in the product, service, customer experience. If anything, we now are bringing like the idea is that with the PSG investment, we're now bringing more resources to kind of that scaling component of what we're doing, right? So everything kind of gets looked from an angle of how do you scale this, how do you make it sustainable, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, if you're a customer or if you're an Element customer or partner, it's for you, it's just business as usual. If anything, things can kind of accelerate a little bit more, and there's going to be more firepower as we scale up.
So artist, a builder at heart, that's who you are, and your heart, your passion, your vision takes you back to this modality mentality. Number two, Element, it's not in that stage anymore. So this has been an evolution, and you take the company to that level. To us internally, all the listeners who are Element employees, we know what that means. That we are in this smooth transition mode, and there's you and a whole team being actively involved in this transition. And as you mentioned, to our customers, our partners, it's business as usual. If anything, just more firepower to scale up.
Yeah.
I just wonder if you could say something else, and still as CEO, but more importantly as probably DNA of the company, right? That DNA is impregnated everywhere, right? And just 2 weeks ago, as we were engaged, half of the comments was, "I hope Element remains the same." So just a bit of the culture in this aspect of the intangible, that it's the family, the nerd power joins fun and agility. Can you say a bit of how do you expect Element, because I know your answer, right, to continue in that path? Because you moving on, that doesn't mean that the company will change and lose this other non-tangible that makes us very, very special and our community loves.
Yeah. Well, I tell people ask me all the time. It's like, hey, how do you build culture? What culture do you have at Element? And I'm like, it's just such a bullshit question because it's like you like there's no such thing as like a unified culture. Like you can't really describe the culture by, but there's this idea that you find and you bring people together that are driven and kind of driving towards that motivation or driving towards that mission, and then people that kind of fit together well, right? And kind of so the people that you bring in, they're the culture, right? So you build a culture based on the people that you hire based on, and we have like the culture that say is like we have no BS kind of type of culture. So there is no asshole culture here. Everything is pretty direct and pretty open and transparent, and that's on built. I don't say it's not built on design. It's just the people that are working here, they work that way, right? And they're build a culture. So if I leave, it doesn't mean that that culture goes away. Those people are still here. They're the culture. It's not necessarily me that's the culture and that's forming the culture. It's just keep hiring really good people and keep hiring people that are not assholes, and keep
Minus
hiring
one.
people that
Minus one.
minus one.
This guy.
Well, right, but that's the yeah, exactly. Hey, sometimes people call me an asshole, maybe under their breath or something like that, but
Only on Mondays. Only on Mondays.
only on Mondays. That's right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that's it's a tough question, but it's also a trick question that you can ask somebody. It's like, well, what's the culture like? And yeah, I mean, I truly believe we have some of the best people in the industry working here, not just the higher education industry, but also in technology overall. So I feel so confident that that Element, kind of the baby, is gonna like you hand it off and you're like, okay, what's gonna happen now, right? So it's like you see it from afar. Well, in this case, not from afar, but I feel that it's in really, really good hands, and the team has done an incredible job, and I have so much trust in everybody.
As a member of the tribe, as a part of the OG team, right, and one of the people that you refer to as the leadership that is responsible for making it work, I have absolutely zero fear, or my degree of confidence 1,000% that we will be able to continue the path forward in the same style slash culture approach, whatever word we want to use. And that's because it's not fake, it's in us. And in a way,
Right.
these
Yeah.
90
It's
people,
legit. I think I
yeah,
think
it's
I think you used the word
legit.
legit.
There you go. There you go. Artists, timing is very interesting, right? And what I would love to take the conversation is, let's just zoom out, because I give the analogy that, you've been playing, I don't know, point guard in this team and dunking sometimes giving the assist. And now you're joining the bench kind of thing. Well, not really. You're actually hanging the jersey, but you're going to go back to this talent pool that it's at an ultimate high. There's something that is very interesting. You're an AI expert. I know you're going to be doing something in AI, But as we look at our AI stories and news flashes, right now, you and I are witnessing, everybody's witnessing, probably the most interesting time to be an AI expert. And the AI talent wars are actually at high, intensity as we speak. So, first of all, can you describe to everybody what do I mean with these AI talent words? But you just basically just putting yourself in that front line, and that's exciting. So let's start with what is an AI talent
Whoa, so
war?
yeah, let's kind of play something clear here. So I'm not going to Meta or any of the AI labs. I mean, I'm not a researcher.
Well, but why you
So
mean Meta? Like, yeah,
I'm not getting $100 million to, so for,
yeah.
if you have been kind of following up, one of the things that is really interesting and what is happening in kind of in the AI, the frontier AI, all the labs, OpenAI, Anthropic, and so on and so forth. There's this AI talent wars that are heating up right now. And the idea here is that, those who are building AI are in so high demand. And those who are building like the AI models and the frontier AI models, and they're even in higher demand right now. So you're seeing companies like Meta, for example, in the past week, poaching a lot of AI talent from all over the place, mostly OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and a few other places, and researchers to build what they're calling their super intelligence team, right? And the idea here is that the AI, or the people who are building, are in so high demand, and the companies that need that transformation and need to drive that, like they're going to buy them, and they're going to bring them together at all costs, because the cost is just so much more valuable if you actually succeed on the other side. Now, I'm not talking about the builders who are building technology companies who are building kind of products. I'm talking about the labs like OpenAI and Meta and so on and so forth. So we're seeing this huge, drive for talent, and Facebook's like, so Meta, like they poached AI researchers from OpenAI to form what they're calling their super intelligence team. Mark Zuckerberg personally, like he's personally done the recruiting and reached out to people, and kind of brought in. I think we talked about this, the Scale AI acquisition. He also hired in Nat Friedman, which is an ex GitHub co-founder, and also recruited a lot of researchers from OpenAI. So essentially, what's happening here is the incentives are getting ridiculously crazy in that world.
That's your reference to the $100 million. So when I
Right.
joke that you're joining this, and you
Exactly.
say, "Wait, I'm
Exactly.
not going to Meta," it's because as Zuckerberg and the likes are going into this poach and recruitment, the the number thrown at us, the audience, looking at this from afar is, I will offer $100 million to these top 1% AI experts to join my lab. By the way, um, artists, some of the people who actually joined said that there's no $100 million. So somewhere between a lot of money and 100 million. So
It's it's an amazing kind of public relationship comments on Sam Altman, and how he positioned it. In one of the podcasts, he said, "Oh, and by the way, it's a little bit unfair that they're paying $100 million to this," and he positioned them as mercenaries versus missionaries. So this idea of mercenaries versus missionaries, it's really important, and we can come back to that and talk more about it, but it's kind of resonates, right? So usually mercenaries don't succeed, right? You need missionaries, people who believe in the cause and we are doing it for the right reasons. And if you're there just for the incentives, you're not. But anyways, yeah, that's positioning, right? So Sam
yeah,
Altman is an
he's a
OpenAI. It's
master.
like
He's a
sour
master
grapes.
at
It's
that.
like people. Yeah, exactly. It's like people are leaving. It's like, how do I hold people here? I'm going to play the heartstrings, and I'm going to tell them that you don't believe in the mission and you're just somebody who's going after the money, which is bullshit, but it's okay.
Can we stay on that topic of missionaries versus mercenaries? Because there's the aspect of in a lot of this leadership, specifically the AI push that is towards AGI or anything that is super intelligence, it's borderline benevolent contribution to the world, abundance. Let's really make an impact. So that's where I think the word missionary would be attached to AI, right? That the world as we know it doesn't scale resources, man, like so many issues, and we have an opportunity to come and do something about it through AI and super intelligence. But from the mercenary point of view, I'm conflicted with that word. I just wondering what your take is on this, because I just don't see any of these poaching and level acquisition to the level of it's just to make more money. Everybody's at the bottom, at the end of the day is bottom line, but there's a horizon of super intelligence that whether you're coming aggressively as a missionary or aggressively as a mercenary, like I find everybody aligned in the same epic, and it's created this version of AGI or super intelligence. So I struggle with the missionary versus mercenary. What's your take on that?
Look, it's not just the big labs, right, that are pulling people away, that they have this mission of, it's like you're also seeing very recently, this week as well, you saw kind of even startups are successfully pulling talented, like AI first startups. We talked about Cursor, or the Anysphere, which is the company that makes the makers of coding assistant Cursor. They accelerated really quickly to 100 million in ARR, and we talked about that before. And they are essentially one of the best coding kind of AI first tools out there. And they successfully poached two people from Anthropic, the Anthropic coding team, the people who led their coding teams there, Claude Code. And that's remarkable because Anthropic is a major AI player, and then it's like, who the hell is this Cursor guys coming in and kind of poaching that talent? So it's not a matter just about the mission or this big artificial super intelligence. It's a matter also of how fast are companies going, like what's the incentives for people to work at those companies, and is it trying to solve problems, is it trying to like what is the driver for them there? So it's happening in all different levels. And also what's interesting with organizations overall, there is going to need to be this kind of talent that is an AI first talent, people who are working on AI, who are building right now, and that is super valuable, right? Like you cannot teach somebody these things in a week or 2 weeks, or you can't send them to a course and now they're AI experts. You have to build stuff with it. You have to understand.
It's
So that's the part
years
that,
of training. Yeah.
yeah, right. But I mean, that's on the foundational technology side. But on the product side, if you build AI products, it's all about like the idea of experimentation and failing and building and learning. And we here at Element, like we've done that over the past 3.5 years now. Is that we started since the beginning, and the accumulation of that knowledge of how do you build more, and how do you fail, and what we learned and what we failed. So now when we listen to these YouTube episodes or this kind of conference talks about somebody talking about this new method of doing, and we're like, oh shit, yeah, we solved that already. Like we already solved it, and we solved it that way, so it makes sense, right? So you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of so the idea of AI talent that is going to accelerate things very quickly is going to be more and more important to product companies that are putting products out there. And learning requires quite a bit of time to do that, and not just product organizations, but any organization. If you're listening, like you should really or reward, and you should accelerate and provide much more support to those who are actually building and deploying AI in your organizations right now, right? It's don't try to be very diplomatic or kind of democratic and try to spread it around. Yes, you're going to spread it around, but reward those who are accelerating at it, right? Because that it's a compounding effect, and it's going to provide a lot more value.
I was just wondering if we could stay on the compounding effect and this. this frenzy, what does it really do? So 2 points for me. The incentives is not only money. What we see is that talent will be poached and moved because you have better clusters, better supercomputers, right? And technical talent needs that infrastructure to come and thrive. But I could come and say, artists, hey, this is a zero sum game. I just have the best of OpenAI move to Meta, and the best from Claude moving to Gemini, but it's still the same four frontier labs. So to your point about this, not only the frontier labs, but there's also small, like what does this frenzy and talent would do to innovation and overall the AI field? Where do you think that takes us at the end of this journey?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really great time. So we're seeing how no longer do you require massive teams to compete with the incumbents out there, right? You don't require this massive investments and this massive teams that are built, and it takes years to get from 0 to 10 million or 0 to 20 million in terms of ARR. And so the acceleration of this AI native companies with very fewer people that are driving so much value is real, right? And that's the beautiful part. So it's the limited pool of experts. It's also really important that fewer people can do a lot more, right? And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you think about this, but in the past, we thought the war for software developers was really intense, and now you're writing software with a lot of code. So the war for AI researchers is now at a different level. But also, I believe that the war for really good product people that are building with AI and really good, like for builders, it's that gives another opportunity for those builders to actually, start thinking that, hey, we are no longer in a scarce environment where it requires all these different things to build a company and to kind of scale things. It can be done a lot easier and a lot faster. AI powered and people focused. This is the future of higher ed. Join us in Charlotte, June 24 and 25 for the 2025 Engage Summit. Learn how AI transforms student engagement by blending scalability and authenticity. Enrollify listeners get 50% off with code Enrollify50. That's Enrollify50. Register now at engage.element451.com.
With your timing and where you're going, right? Because the pressure between what the big labs can produce in terms of innovation and stickiness in product versus the small startup kind of ecosystem. This is what I think that it's very unique and different this time. I'm used to technology disruption that has the big guys not only leading the infrastructure, the technology, but the use cases. The use cases right now are driven by consumers, right? If there's something that ChatGPT did is that as the amount of generative AI and this new version of AI that kind of got launched, you don't see governments or universities or big institutions using it. I'd say I see that there's more consumer driven use cases, and that's slightly different. So when I think of that in the ecosystem of the small players, it's going to be the wild, wild west in terms of this. Probably company is number one in terms of customer love and passion, and poof, overnight it could disappear. So probably consolidation will take place after that, and maybe companies get bought out. But in the next 5 years, I really think that the most exciting thing is in that small ecosystem. So connected this to the move of artists transitioning, evolving from CEO to board member, overseeing Element, to you now, the technologist, the AI expert. What do you think about your next chapter? I mean, let's connect all these things to what's in your head today.
Yeah, yeah. So look, when you're thinking about a transformation that's happening in industry, AI it's transforming a lot of industries, and it's transforming education, it's transforming higher education, it's transforming all kind of industries. It's essentially an opportunity where a lot of software has to be rewritten, a lot of systems have to be rewritten, a lot of products have to be built in this new AI first type of approach. And I don't think there is a better time to be a builder in this opportunity, or in this time, in terms of, kind of building things. So, you know, me having that mindset of a builder, and I see all these different opportunities, I'm like getting itchy here. Like, I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to try this, I want to do this. So I see opportunities everywhere, and it's really, really difficult for me to kind of sit on the, on the sideline. So, look, as somebody who's building AI here at Element, and I believe Element's kind of trajectory and the vision and the and the product roadmap and the innovation, it's already there. But I want to take that same kind of, I don't know what to call it, but that same approach to, like, hey, let's try it. Let me try to think if I can replicate or if I can do something somewhere else. And I know that, now it's really the best time to build, right? It's unprecedented talent. The research labs has really, really, like, there's not a lot of talent there, but now you can do a lot more, with a lot less. And people that are looking for those transitions from kind of the traditional, you know what I mean, like, places, this transformation of talent is going to happen as well. So it's going to be very disruptive. So if we can present a compelling mission, innovative idea, you can attract a lot of really good people right now, and a lot of really good capital as well. The AI technology itself, like the models, the tools, the infrastructure, has advanced to a point where really small teams, like I said, they can do incredible things. There's a lot of open source out there, cloud services. So lean teams of experts can iterate very quickly, and that can be a multiplier. And like I said, capital capital is there. Like, so if you have a great AI idea, the funding finds you in this time, right? Not the other way around.
Can I give an example that caught my eye on how capital and talent merge?
Yeah.
Former CTO of OpenAI, woman, incredibly talented. She leaves. I forgot her name.
Mira Murati. Yeah.
Yeah, Mira Murati. Apparently, no pitch, no pitch deck, no kind of idea. Just basically, millions of dollars came her way just because people know that she's got talent and she can build something incredible, right? And that type of thing of capital is looking for talent, and it's a really interesting join of two marvelous forces.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great time to be a builder. That's all I can say, right? So the value of creating AI innovations is immense right now. And as a builder, that's really motivating. It means that if you gather the right talent, or become, kind of really good, kind of had that really good idea, the world is really, it will reward. It will reward. And the speed of iteration, the speed is incredible as well. So as someone who started, now this is my third company. I've had a consultancy in the past. I've had a design agency. I've had a marketing agency. This a software company. It's addicting. So, and I'm like, I want to do more of that, right? And people ask me, well, what's next? Do you already have an idea in mind? What's motivating you, and all those? And to be honest, I just there's just so much opportunity that I don't really have any. I haven't pinpointed anything yet. So, but probably stay tuned over the next 6 months or so as I kind of transition out. I'm pretty sure that we'll keep talking about that.
So, hey, artists, and thanks for the transparency on, and I would say also the logic model of the why, the timing. Like, it just makes so much sense, right? From a personal angle, right? Some of us who know you best, right? We could see you doing things with the style and I personally have seen your evolution. I think it was around your life when you had your first company, right? And definitely saw you with your leadership evolution, your technologist evolution, the man that you became, right? Today, I've been on the sidelines, and it's been a privilege. Talk to your young CEO, company one. Now that you'll be on your fourth attempt here, I would say one or two things that you are taking back from all these motions that are going to be present and this style. It's like this is what's going to happen on your fourth attempt, right? It's more on like what to expect, that it's the element thing or the company, like the Spark thing, the agency thing, or your consultancy that you did before, and also what's different, what replicates and what's different.
Yeah. Uh,
Good, you like that
look,
question?
that's a really good question, man. You know, I didn't know that we can ask that question. So what's different? I think the timing is different, and to be honest, also mentally, I'm in a very very different place right now.
Yes, I can see
Um,
that.
it was, you know, as you start building, you know, technology, you start you have services, you have technology, you're working in the higher education sector, so ed tech. Ed tech is not the easiest place to be as an entrepreneur. It's a grind, and it's the procurement services, it's the you know, the access to the buyer. It's you have to really understand the industry, you have to understand the pain points, you have to also be willing to sacrifice quite a bit in order to kind of gain that scale, because it doesn't happen overnight. And it's been rewarding for me because education has been kind of a driver for everything that I've done. I moved here to the US when I was 14, and I just, you know, education was the only way that you can move up. And I got 3 degrees, and I was like, okay, what do I do with this now? It's like, shit, well, I'm not going to work for anybody. So it's like, let me start a company, or let me partner with people to start a company. So it was an interesting kind of perspective where, like, has that education come in handy for me? Yeah, of course. It's all about the connections and the people you meet and everything else. So when you look at like what's different right now is that my, you know, the connections and the network and the know-how is completely different, right? And what Element and everything else has allowed me to do is kind of build, you know, build that ecosystem, or build that, I would say, even personal brand, but also understand how the things that we failed at before, how to accelerate and bypass those. So that's the benefit of being a founder, right? And that's the benefit of, you know, having done this. So you understand what it requires to get things done. It's very, very painful, right? It's like you do it once and it's painful, you do it twice, it's even, you're like, "Holy shit," like, you forget, like, how painful it was, and you do it again. But in higher education, the moat is really the scale, and I feel like we're at that point where now it's all about the scaling and kinda continuing that growth and the innovation, and the flywheel is continuing by itself, but the hard part is already done, right? It seems that there is a, you know, I'm glutton for punishment in a lot of cases, but also I now know how to accelerate things even faster. So every time you do it, you're like, okay, as an engineer, you feel like, okay, how fast can I get from 0 to 1? How fast can I get from 0 to 1? How fast can I get 0 to 1? And that's not just on the technology side. That's on how do you build people? How do you raise money? How do you, you know, find customers? Like all of those things, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And as an entrepreneur who kind of builds stuff, like the better you get at building, and kind of going back to the idea of how now it's the best time to build. It's like, holy shit, like I know that with a transformative technology like AI, the market need, the idea, you know, the transformation that's happening in industry, like the acceleration can be, you know, an order of magnitude higher than before. So that's what's different. We were still going to be on this podcast, so we'll kind of do the journey live as we kind of continue things. So if anything, I'll have more time to experiment and to tinker with new AI and technologies. So this show will be a working in the open, so to speak. So hopefully we can expose a lot of that.
Okay, that's fantastic. I'm hearing you're a better builder, right? In this fourth attempt, if you will, your ability to look at people, funding, customers, also technology will be taking place at a faster pace. And in working with you, artists, I've seen this trademark of yours of replicability, agility, acceleration, speed, and yeah, I can see that being the trademark. And as you mentioned, the word acceleration is probably what's going to define it as relates to our podcast. I guess I'm a little scared. If you come in way too fast at me, I promise you I will catch up. I'll give you my very best as we accelerate all things AI and we try to deploy them to our followers. So, yeah, one last question. In terms of reflections of your journey, I really truly believe that you've created a new category and the impact that you've brought in the higher education, ed tech sector, it's significant. Specifically, this category is how AI, digital workforce, and student engagement come and emerge. It's been an incredible ride, and what you've done from a tiny startup to this organization in this category, it's really remarkable. So, if you were to speak to us, higher education leaders, experts, ed tech experts, or overall educators, what are the words of advice and how do you see this impact being replicable and also, to your earlier point, being accelerated?
As a product of the higher education system, and I truly believe that there is, education is much more than just knowledge transfer, and it's much more than just that degree. And it really, the most important part of it is the network and the community that it kind of brings together. So the idea of an institution, providing a product and providing a degree and kind of skills upskilling, yes, it does all those things, but the community part is even more important. And I'm a artifact of that, right? I'm a product of that community. Like if I weren't to go to NYU for my undergrad degree, and kind of met the people that I met, from Anne Lubrano to Carl Skelton to Mel Horowitz, like those are the people that kind of nudged me along, and then they got me my first job there, right, at NYU. So Anne brought me back, and that's where I met you. So now we had that connection. And then I met Mel, and Mel recruited me to the MBA program, and that's where I met Mike, and we formed Spark for 51 together. So higher ed is really, much more than just that degree. It's really that kind of community and that aspect of, so whoever is building for higher ed, sometimes it can feel very slow, and it can feel very bureaucratic. And yes, there's a lot of waste, and yes, things move really slow. But ultimately, the mission is more important than anything else in the world, right? It's all about how do you change people's lives? How do you connect people? How do you give them a stepping stone that they can go ahead and do better in the world? And how do you kind of set them in that right direction, and then provide them the skills and provide them the connections in the community? So it becomes really difficult to build in ed tech without having that connection to that mission. And for everyone who's building in higher ed, everyone who's a leader, an institutional leader, who a company leader, or anyone working towards higher ed, it's probably one of the most mission driven industries in the world. And it kind of, it's just so rewarding building for it. And that's perhaps one of the things that I'll miss the most is kind of that, that mission, and driving towards that.
Well, there you have it. Today's episode is a special one. Ardis, personally, as I said before, thank you for being this builder. Thank you for allowing us to understand what a building personality, mindset, lifestyle, and company looks like. And I cannot wait to unpack this journey with you together in this podcast. To the Element community, this transition marks a new chapter for Ardis, but also for us, the company. We will leverage a strong foundation and we'll create together. The future is even brighter for Element. And I cannot wait to see what we all build together with Ardis behind the scenes and all the team that you already know. And remember, the frenzy AI talent moves in the industry, whether Meta or many more are hiring in startup talent or poaching AI gurus. This is a significant data point and signal that people are crucial to drive AI forward. And that's why you have to have the right vision and culture that matters to basically make this a reality. Again, thank you so much for the episode in Ardis today, and for many, many more times, you get to sign us off.
Till next time, everybody. Generation AI is part of the Enrollify podcast network. If you like this podcast, chances are you're going to like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing weekly, and we've got a wide range of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Enrollify is made possible by Element451, the next generation AI student engagement platform that's helping institutions all over the country create meaningful, personalized, and engaging connections with their prospects and students. Learn more at element451.com.